One of the most important things cattlemen and women can do is join the fight to protect our industry by becoming a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Here to share his thoughts on the challenges of regulation and the value of NCBA and state organizations working together is Jason Carter, Executive Director of the Virginia Cattlemen Association. Jason, thanks for coming to the show today.
Thank you. Happy to be here, Kevin.
So tell us a little bit about the Virginia Cattlemen Association and the makeup of your members.
Sure. The Virginia Cattlemen Association has been around for more than 70 years, representing Virginia's beef industry and producers. We're among the top 50% of beef cattle producing states in the United States. Sometimes hard to believe given our proximity to where we are today. But we're primarily a feeder cattle producing state. About 70% of our calves leave Virginia every year. Weigh in somewhere between 400 and 800 pounds and often head out to the eastern Corn Belt region of the country.
Absolutely. Yeah, you wouldn't think of this being cow country right here in Washington, D.C. Tell us this. I know regulations impact your members as they do all beef cattle producers across the country, but especially environmental regulations. How is that impacting your Virginia Cattlemen Association members?
Well, environmental regulation particularly has been a concern to our industry and for producers for more than a decade. We have the Chesapeake Bay that lies just to the east of Virginia and is a watershed for much of the Northeast. Concern over the water quality in the Chesapeake Bay and the practices on the ground ahead of that bay became more of an issue to agriculture when the TMDL provided the impetus for the Chesapeake Bay to become protected through a watershed improvement plan. We're big believers in cooperative federalism. We benefit from working with our federal partners at EPA, and over the last 10 years, that partnership has improved water quality. It hasn't diminished the need for us to still be vigilant about how successive administrations view regulation and how they may apply law or rules that would change how we work with them now. But regulation in the environment will always be a high priority for us because water quality is always going to be paramount for agricultural production.
And speaking of regulation, the Waters of the United States rule seems to be back with us again. What are your primary concerns as this legislation moves forward or this regulation moves forward again?
I think with the Waters of the United States, undoubtedly certainty will be our primary concern moving forward. When the 2015 rule was released, one of the problems with it was there was a lack of certainty is what defined the waters of the United States. How did the average producer or business owner even know the difference between a puddle that could hold water and a perennial surface water? How did they know the difference between what may be regulated and how it would be regulated? So looking ahead anxiously to a new Waters of the United States rule that we can participate in creating, it'll hopefully lead to some certainty in the definition of a WOTUS more than anything.
I hope that's the case. Now, I understand you have actually testified before Congress on this issue.
Sure.
Why is it so important for beef cattle producers to be willing to come to D.C. and do exactly what you've done?
Well, to engage. You know, one of the primary values of an association of any type is communication. And when folks work together and can communicate what's important to them, to the policymakers, beyond the stakeholders and members, it's critical that they do that. So it's very important that members, and along with folks like myself who work for these associations, to be here and to make and facilitate connections with our policymakers and legislators to help them understand on the ground what we experience and help us help shape our own future.
You know, on the show we talk a lot about the importance of the state-national partnership. Tell our viewers how that has manifested itself in terms of making progress on issues like these.
Oh, well, again, like I said, we're big believers in cooperative federalism, and there's no question that aside from government, when we talk about, again, associations, the cooperation and partnership we have at Virginia Cattlemen's Association with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is outstanding. That communication piece is so important in being able to work together to better understand issues and help each other move our industry forward, represent our members, and get things done. It's so critical that we maintain those partnerships.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for coming to our show and for all you do for our organization. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Kevin.
There are many reasons to become an NCBA member, including some valuable incentives for doing so. You can find out more about NCBA membership by calling 1-866-233-3872, or you can visit the website joinncba.org.